Welcome back. Today I am going to explain episode 11 to 15 of the Sword Art Online. Be ready for some spoilers are ahead. Episode 11 begins when both Asuna and Kirito present before Heathcliff on floor 55 grands him. Asuna asks for a few days off from a guild which Heathcliff approves, making sure they would return to the battlefield soon. Kirito buys a house on floor 22 and Asuna gets excited. Asuna says, Kirito, not only in the virtual world, I want to fall in love with you in the real world too. They spend a romantic night, and the following morning Asuna urges him to move out for fun. Later, they head the northeast and Kirito carries Asuna on his shoulder. While passing through the lake, people wave at them, which excites Asuna. They reach the forest and Kirito explains real ghosts exist here and roam at night. He says that a carpenter saw a ghost in the nearby trees 7 days ago. Asuna suddenly sees someone nearby a tree and gets scared. She asks Kirito and Kirito approaches that thing. It is a girl who gets unconscious, not a ghost. Asuna feels sorry for the girl and tells Kirito she is too little to play this game. Next, Kirito and Asuna take her into their house. Kirito tells she cannot be NPCs or else I am cautioned with harassment. Nor she is a quest giver, Asuna responds. They are concerned about her parents now. Kirito sleeps while Asuna gets to the girl and falls asleep with her. The following morning, the girl awakes and both Asuna and Kirito ask her name. She is struggling to memorize anything. Anyhow, her name is Yui. Yui does not even remember who their parents are and considers Kirito and Asuna her parents. Afterward, they enjoy spicy food and Yui falls asleep again. Kirito discusses we should head back to the town of beginnings in search of Yui's parents. Kirito alerts Asuna to keep the weapons as that is more an army vicinity. While walking through the town of beginnings, they find the place quite empty. Kirito tells there are less than 2,000 people now, including the army. Suddenly they hear a shriek and reach out to that place. Troops of the army try to snatch everything from one of the daycares, Miss Sasha and her children. The army wants everything that females possess. On the spot, Asuna tells the children, you are in safe hands now. The troops get annoyed as they have not seen Asuna and Kirito before. Asuna requests Kirito to stay with the children. Asuna attacks one of the Liberation Army members and says your HP will not reduce as it is a safe place. The rest of the members are horrified by this moment and run away. Miss Sasha and her children praise Asuna and thank her for saving their lives. Suddenly, Yui looks at the sky trying to remember something. Both Asuna and Kirito are stunned. Yui's body begins to tremble and gets unconscious. Asuna and Kirito fail to understand this part, and episode 11 ends here. Episode 12 begins when all the children Sasha keeps are taking meals and having fun. Kirito, Asuna, and Yui take a meal with Sasha too. Sasha shares, ever since these children suffer from trauma, I keep them in this church. Suddenly, a girl appears at the door. Yulia requests Asuna and Kirito for help. Yulia reveals the top priority of our guild was to share information and food under the leader's supervision. Thinker. The guild tend to increase and more powers took charge. One of them is Kibeo, who wanted to be dominant. Yulia further says Kibeo started neglecting duties and kept the highest level players by his side. He kept the Thinker in the dungeon, and he did not have anything to save himself the time when he had to talk to Kibeo. Kibeo warns everyone, including the army, not to save Thinker. Yulia says she is low level and needs help. Asuna finds trust issues at first, but later they agree. Next, they walk through town of beginnings Black Iron Castle to save Thinker. In the middle, they find monsters that are not strong enough. Kirito kills them in no time and gets frog meat in return. Asuna throws that all away as she hates it for cooking purposes. Yulia smiles and Yui notices it happily. Yulia finds Thinker from a distance and starts running toward him. Thinker asks her to stop as there is a massive monster in the middle. The monster throws the sword at Yulia, but Kirito saves her in the nick of the time. Asuna requests Yulia to take Yui to a safer place and wait for us. Kirito could not recognize the monster with his skills. Kirito begs Asuna to run away with the rest of the people. She disagrees and commands Yulia to use teleport to run away. In the meantime, the monster smashes both Kirito and Asuna, and their HP level drops to half. However, Yui detaches herself from Yulia when she teleports. Yui comes in front of the monster and Asuna screams that this could be dangerous. Astonishingly, Yui kills that monster. Kirito and Asuna eyes could not believe what they are watching. Yui then reveals she remembers everything now. Yui explains that she is run by the Cardinal program, whose job is to keep everything balanced in SAO. She deals with the psychological part of players. She was so disturbed by the negative feelings of the players that she had to get closer to them without doing anything since she was not allowed to. By interacting too much, she got unconscious in the forest. She explained that she had to meet with you as you were quite normal with different levels. You took me from the forest and her wish was fulfilled. Yui says it's time for me to get deleted from Cardinal as I killed the monster. Both Asuna and Kirito get sentimental. Yui thanked them and requests to keep spreading happiness. Yui is deleted and Kirito accesses the system to bring Yui back. Kirito extracts an item that is the heart of Yui. She gives it to Asuna. Lastly, all the people from the floor, including Thinker and Yuli, see Kirito and Asuna off. By reaching floor 22, Asuna asks would we see Yui in the real world. Kirito replies it will be hard to bring her back, but we will do everything. Yui says, good luck from the sky. Episode 12 concludes. Episode 13 commences when Kirito is fishing on floor 22, lake outside Coral City. He fails to catch any and he is scared of the arrival of fisherman Nishida. Nishida picks up a fish and tells Kirito that he cannot cook. Kirito offers his help and they enjoy the meal afterward. He appreciates Asuna, who makes a meal for them. Kirito is slightly disappointed with his fishing skills, but Nishida explains the lake where you were fishing is the hardest of lakes and contains a king of all fish. Nishida also tries it once but failed. He says Kirito to join him next time catching that fish. Later, at night, Kirito and Asuna recall the day and understand Nishida as a funny guy. They assume that people here are happy living their ordinary lives. Being a strong contender, Asuna tells Kirito that he should step up always as people around him expect a lot from him. Afterward, both join Nishida in the vent where they have to catch the mighty fish. People are gathered in numbers. Nishida puts the fishing rod in the lake, feels the target, and asks Kirito to switch. Henceforth, the fish finally come out of the lake and everyone gets scared as it looks like a monstrous fish. Asuna here steps up and kills the fish. People are astonished and praise Asuna. Meanwhile, Kirito receives a message from Heathcliff. After a while, Asuna explains there must be something important, and we better hear from Heathcliff. They meet Nishida on floor 22, Coral Teleport Gate Plaza, where he thanks them for the wonderful time. Nishida says, I have given up hopes of leaving for the real world. Asuna understands his feelings and tells me I used to think the same way. She starts recalling the things of the past 2 years to Nishida and tells how her life changed when she met Kirito. Kirito is the reason I am living in this world. After saying all this, both Kirito and Asuna leave for floor 55, Grand Zone, where Heathcliff reveals how the members of 5 guilds became the victim of the boss. The fight began when the entrance was closed and 10 members were up front. After a while, the door opened but no one was there including the boss. Heathcliff motivates we are not giving up on this and will retaliate. Kirito agrees, but he says if things go worst, he would protect Asuna more than others while protecting. Kirito asks Asuna not to go for a fight. She replies, I cannot keep your life at risk and stay safe here. She keeps her in Kirito's arms and wishes to live the rest of her life with him. They promise to protect each other, no matter what. Later, they head to floor 75, Kalinia Teleport Gate Plaza, where they find a number of players including Agile and Klein. Heathcliff arrives and lets everyone enter the boss room. He instructs that the Knights of Blood Oath would defend while the rest will attack. In the room, they find no one but Asuna feels it right above. The boss is the Skull Reaper. The boss kills a couple of players in one attempt. Kirito is shocked. There is great chaos and Agile and Klein ready to attack. In no time, the boss kills more players. Kirito orders to attack from the sides. Agile and Klein get into action. Heathcliff uses every skill, and Asuna and Kirito are at the nearest from the boss to attack. Episode 13 ends here. Episode 14 begins when the frontline players are attacking fondly. Heathcliff notices the HP level of the Skull Reaper drops down significantly. He orders the rest of the players to attack. All attack the boss and kill to the death. Everyone's breathing hard and Kirito declares about 14 are dead. Agile is worried about how they are going to deal with the rest of the 25 floors. Kirito senses something weird as he finds no real drop in Heathcliff's HP. He rushes towards him and gets to know about his mortality. Next, Kirito explains Heathcliff is protected by the system and his HP cannot be dropped to yellow. Everyone gets shocked. Kirito catches if it is so you are Akeko Kayava. Everyone's scared. Heathcliff is Akeko and Kirito reveals I understood during the duel. Akeko says I had to convert the assist mode to kill you since you had dual wielding. Akeko surprises everyone by saying I am the final floor boss, and if you get there you will meet me at the Ruby Palace. One of the players tries to attack Akiko, but he makes him paralyzed. Akiko challenges Kirito to fight with him, and if he wins, everyone will have a logout option to leave this world. Kirito recalls all the players who died in the mission and accepts the challenge. Before getting into a fight, Kirito thanks Agile for his help toward average players and apologizes Klein for not partying up with him. Kirito also puts a condition in front of Akiko that if he dies, Asuna will not kill herself. Akiko accepts it. Eventually, the fight begins and Kirito uses every ounce of his skills to compete. Suddenly, his sword is broken. Akiko raises his sword to kill Kirito, but Asuna comes in the middle. Boom. Asuna dies and Kirito's eyes could not believe it. He becomes helpless. Now Kirito is hit with a sword. It seems like it's over for him too. But it is not. Kirito hits Akiko back and they both are dead. Akiko's death means the game is clear. Kirito is descended to heaven where he meets Asuna. They become extremely happy. Next, Akiko appears and Kirito is shocked. Akiko reveals the system is deleting it and we all are going to get disappeared. 6,147 people successfully logged out while those who die will stay dead. Akiko adds, I did this because I wanted to create a world of my own in which I can set the rules and have nothing to do with the Earth's matters. This is ending, but probably I would have something like this in another world. It's time. Akiko dies. Afterward, Kirito apologizes to Asuna for not taking her into the real world. Asuna still feels happy as Kirito remained a part of her life. Everything gets disappeared, and then Kirito opens up his eyes in the hospital. He removes the nerve gear and starts walking out of the hospital by sobbing Asuna. Episode 14 concludes. Episode 15 commences when Kirito is having a beautiful time with Asuna. Suddenly, Asuna gets disappeared, which makes Kirito wakes up. Well, he was dreaming. Afterward, he calls her sister, Sugu, who is practicing at dojo. Kirito holds the stick and feels that quite lighter than the sword he used. Kirito wants to have a match with Sugu, telling her that he has still the grandfather's gear. Sugu thinks Kirito has not practiced for years, however Sugu is convinced and they are having a battle. At first, Sugu is surprised by Kirito's stance, then after a few moments, she hits him on the helmet and secures the win. Sugu confirms whether Kirito is alright. It's all fine and Kirito is impressed and praises Sugu. Kirito adds, I will gain more muscles and will have training under your supervision. Sugu says she has been practicing too but cannot reveal. Kirito tells her he has to leave for the hospital. Sugu understands that he is badly missing Asuna. It's been 2 months since Kirito killed Akiko and informed his completion of SAO to Interior Minister. They know the location of Asuna. Kirito reached out to a Takurazawa hospital to see Asuna. Asuna's father, Yuki, shows up and makes Kirito meet with Sugu. Sugu talks about the marriage with Asuna that stuns Kirito. Yuki takes a leave then and Sugu tells Kirito that though Asuna hates me, I will marry her. At the time when Company Argus was bankrupted, its servers were given to electronic maker RCT. Yuki was the CEO and I managed the technical stuff, so it's time that the Yuki family goes for the compensation. Kirito feels sad and Sugu takes him into her arm. Sugu then recalls how her mother told Kirito everything. Sugu came to know that Kirito is her cousin, but he gives his heart to someone else. The morning approaches, Sugu leaves for the practice and Agile sends a message to Kirito. Kirito opens up the message and is astonished to see the picture of Asuna. Episode 15 concludes. Thanks for watching.